What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you, Madden 19. I've had a lot of you send me over some cell phone clips and some little snippets of Madden 19 gameplay and ask me to review it. And, to be fair, just like last year, I'm going to elect not to do that. But I want to kind of explain why. I've looked at the footage, and I've listened to community members give their hands-on impressions. And I will say that this is a very strange time for us as gamers, and it has been the past few years. I mean, this should be a very exciting time, right? We've got 3 games coming out of the marketplace. We have a presentation at EA Play. E3 is going on, and yet the sim football community kind of finds a way, at no fault of our own, mind you, but to divide ourselves. And the division kind of comes from how people want to relate, or people almost want to be viewed by EA, in my opinion. So, we've got a group of people that I don't want to say are willing to defend the game, but are willing to sit there and talk about how great it's going to be and how positive they feel about it. That are willing to back that up with the context of what EA is telling about the game. And it's interesting if you go back and you look at the context of how they sell us these games, the verbiage that they use and the experiences they promise, and how similar they are from year to year to year. We're at a point now where, okay, user control and running is seemingly going to be a big point of sale for Madden 19. Well, in Madden 25 it was too. So in order to get to a point where you're actually adding something to the game, you either have to admit now that something had been taken away in years past, because you can't really reinvent the wheel of user control, or really any part of Madden, in my opinion, for that matter, because you have to understand we're looking at a game that has been coded and scripted for years upon years upon years. We cannot expect them, I cannot expect them, to reinvent the entire game in a single dev process. It's not possible, and it's an unrealistic expectation to have. So you have a whole group that's willing to stand by that message. My problem with that is generally 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, they're no longer around to talk about how that message was incorrect and how they feel things need to be changed. And maybe that's not something they do publicly. Maybe they do that privately with EA. I don't know. But certainly, if that's the case, the concerns that the community has that I listen to, the ones that come to my channel, you guys that leave comments, it seems like your concerns haven't been addressed by some of the leaders of our community, which of course in turn is very confusing and hurtful to me in a way. Now, secondarily, you also have another group of people that, like myself, to be honest with you, is much more optimistic about what's being shown, what's being said, what's being done. I take the term, when you look at work in progress, a little differently now, having worked with 505 and EA and obviously the independent game companies. I realize there's things that can change, but I also have to understand the scope of things that can change. Again, Madden is not going to be completely redefined in the course of 2 months or 3 months from what we're seeing now versus what we're going to actually get in a box. And again, if we expect that, we're going to be disappointed. But generally right now, based on the reactions I've seen, the community reaction is that of disappointment, is that of concern, is that of questioning, is that of taking footage and wondering, hey, what is going on here? This looks like it's going to cause a problem in the way these players move. And I guess my final point with this is, I'm maybe not so concerned with what the game looks like as people play it, and I'm actually going to start to do some breakdowns this year with that. I'm a little bit more concerned with how the game plays on its own. If we remove the user, because that ultimately becomes the issue all people have. Well, you're not good at the game. You hit the wrong button. You didn't time things right. You used a hit stick when you shouldn't. There's a million variables that someone can blame the user in how the gameplay looks poor. What if we just had the computer play the computer and let it run all its own animations, let it dictate all its own things? Would that not create the most simulation-based experience based on computer logic, programming, reasoning, and outcomes? So perhaps more than anything, that's what I'm looking forward to do this year, is getting a game and letting it run itself, and then see where some of these true flaws and issues actually lay, as opposed to opening up circumstances where, maybe you're using a rack catch in a scenario a rack catch isn't appropriate, or maybe you're using a truck when a truck is not appropriate with a certain player. So I think that's going to be something that I might change going forward based on the results I see, but I also think it alleviates a lot of the concerns the community has based on what user control manipulation can actually do to create game footage or replay breakdowns. So with that said, I would love to know what you guys think about this. I appreciate you guys checking out this video and all the videos I put up yesterday. The support has truly been amazing. I think I'm probably somewhere over 60,000 views now within the last day or two. So obviously there's a lot of people that have Madden channels, that have football channels that don't get that support. So it's not lost on me. I truly appreciate it. And again, I'll be back in the week with more commentary.